Hey everyone, welcome to the Daily. Today is Wednesday, August 28th. I'm Greg Lalas.
And I'm Simon Borg, and today the big news. The LA Galaxy have scheduled a 3 p.m. Eastern press conference where Landon Donovan and the LA Galaxy, according to reports, are expected to announce a long-term deal. Donovan is staying in MLS. His contract, remember, is up at the end of this year. Greg, what are you expecting later?
Well, with all the rumors that were flying around there was even talk of, maybe AC Milan or something like that. But this is a big statement again from an MLS club to say we want to keep the best American players here. I think Clint Dempsey started it. Omar Gonzalez, when he was signed, you think back to last year with Graham Zusi and Matt Beasler and what's happened with their contracts. Now Landon Donovan, arguably the best American player ever and maybe the best player in MLS ever, is decided he's going to finish his career here.
I want to hear, though, Greg, what does Landon Donovan want to achieve in the years that he has here? You'd think he's achieved everything in MLS, and I also want to hear from the Galaxy. What are their plans for their 3 young attackers up top? Jack McBean, Jossie Zardes, Jose Villarreal. If you're keeping Keane and Donovan long-term, when are those guys going to get time?
What do you think is the goal that Landon Donovan should have going forward with this?
Well, there are some personal goals that he hasn't achieved. He hasn't won MVP in MLS yet. He hasn't won a Golden Boot. He hasn't taken the Galaxy to the FIFA Club World Cup, hasn't won the CONCACAF Champions League. So there are objectives, but if I'm the Galaxy and you make a promise to these kids coming through the academy that you're going to see time, how do you reconcile that by signing Donovan long-term? That's going to be interesting to see what the Galaxy brass have to say.
Well, it's not that they haven't been getting time. They have been getting maybe not as much as they would like to see, but I don't think any young player ever does. Remember, there is a press conference scheduled by the Galaxy at 3 p.m. Eastern Time for a, quote, major announcement between the Galaxy and Landon Donovan. There's a live stream on LAGalaxy.com. Tune into MLSsoccer.com for all of the coverage of that.
Now to CONCACAF Champions League. And Greg, 2 teams that were struggling in MLS, the Houston Dynamo and Sporting Kansas City, coming off losses this weekend, go into CCL and get the job done.
Okay, struggling. First of all, they had a bad couple of weeks.
Weekend.
They had a bad weekend, but you're right. They do go in midweek and they get some results. So Houston 2-1 over Arriba Unido at home. Cam Weaver with 2 goals. He's actually done very well in CCL. I think he has 6 or 7 goals in CCL competition now for the Dynamo. That's a big win considering they didn't start well. There was a dodgy penalty, as the British would say, early on for Arriba Unido, but they came back. They got that victory 2-1. That was big for them.
Yeah, and it was one of those tight games at home, one of those games you don't like to play, especially because Arriba Unido were all over the field, falling down. The stars in this game turned out to be the stretcher crew, and the Dynamo made sure the stretcher crew got their props.
And a great quote, actually, from Dominic Kinnear afterward, where he basically saying that the team that respected the game most won this game. I loved when Dominic Kinnear says things like that.
Greg, I respect Soony Saad's game a lot. You know how I feel about this guy. He gets the 2 goals that Sporting Kansas City needed in Honduras to win a tough match against Olimpia, one of the strongest teams of Honduras. And now their away games are out of the way for Sporting Kansas City. They have 2 wins. They are flying right now in Champions League.
Yeah, basically I think one more win for them on the home leg for either of those games, and they're through to the quarterfinals. Pretty impressive for them. On the other side now, San Jose. Yep. They have their big game Wednesday night. This is a tough game for them. They lost their first one at Montreal. If they lose this one, are they out?
You know, I think you have to come away with something on the road in Champions League because, yeah, they'll have 2 home games coming up. That's 6 points. You usually need 6 points are not usually enough to get through the group stage. So they got to come away with something.
Yeah, you have to imagine that Montreal will probably get their 6 points at home as well. So then it comes down to head-to-head and goal differential, and I'm not sure San Jose wants that. So that game is at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. It is on Fox Soccer Plus, so you can check that one out. All right, well, it wouldn't be the Daily without a little bit of controversy, especially when Simon Borg is on the show. The controversy today revolves around the U.S. national team. They have that big qualifier September 10th at Columbus Crew Stadium against Mexico. What we're learning now is that the Seattle chapter of the American Outlaws, which is the supporters group for the national team, will be leading the support at this game. Now, that is not sitting well with everybody, but Simon, is there any there? If you
well, Greg, this blew up overnight. Apparently there was a conference call, people got wind of it, and they're critical of this move. But expect some clarification later today. This is what we're hearing. 9,000 fans at an event for U.S. Soccer, 9,000 supporters, I should say.
That's half the stadium at Crew Stadium.
Half the stadium at Crew Stadium and double what U.S. Soccer's ever had at any one game. So they're looking for a way to organize these supporters supporters and have really a nice show at this game. So they're looking for someone who had experience with this. And you look at Seattle, and there was someone who volunteered from Seattle. So this is not something they plan to have for multiple games moving forward. This is looking specifically at Columbus and make sure they have the best home field advantage as possible. So we'll see. There's going to be some clarification.
Well, there are a couple of arguments here that, things are so big now that you need to have some larger organization. And also, look, the American Outlaws is a national organization. It's separated into chapters, certainly, but it is a national organization. They were involved in all of these decisions about this. So there will be more about this, I'm sure, to come as Wednesday rolls on. But no more to come from us today. That's it for the Daily. For Simon Borg, I'm Greg Lalas. Let us know in the comments below what you think, or tweet us at Gagens and at Simon Borg. We'll talk to you tomorrow.